Hello and welcome back to the Game Bet Match podcast. I'm your host, Manny Friedman, along with my co-host,
Brad Sloan.
All right, back in the house, baby. So round 3 in the books. Amazing round 4 slate tomorrow. We had to do a pod tonight to preview those matches, but we want to do a quick recap of round 3.
Yeah, I think it's literally the only reason why we're potting tonight, right? Is we're so pumped for tomorrow that
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, we love round of 16 at Masters 1000s. I think it's like
I think it's the best round in tennis.
Yeah.
I think it's the best round in tennis. And I don't love the way they do this all on the same day, but it does make for an exciting day.
It does. It really does. Like if I'm going to a tournament, this is the day I want to go to. Like
100%. Because you have a lot of really good matches.
Yeah, I'm fine with going third round, second round too, but like fourth round, that's the day I want to be there.
I think third and fourth round are the day to go. Maybe quarters, because like quarters, if you go to like the right tournament, if you go to a single gender tournament, you can just get like one stat quarter the quarters, and you're just on one court all day, just watching 4 great matches back to back.
Like Monte Carlo, for example, where you get 4 matches all on the same day. I think
right, and you get a full day of just amazing tennis. It probably rivals this, but yeah.
Right. No, it's fantastic. So let's do a quick recap of round 3. So Brad, what were some of your best bets that you want to talk about?
I mean, so we can start with I guess Sunday it would have been. I ended up changing my bet from the Rune -2 Rune 2-0 that I talked about on the pod. I ended up getting more risky and going Rune -5, and that got pretty lucky. Schwartzman actually played really well the first set and then completely went away, which I thought was really interesting. Because I wouldn't have expected I would have expected Schwartzman to play badly. I wouldn't expect him to go away.
I just think that the Schwartzman is so underpowered in that matchup that it's just so tough for him to maintain like a decent.
And it's just a matter of time until he just went away. Yeah, exactly. You're probably right.
And I don't think he went away mentally per se. I just think it's just the difference in their games is just so massive, Like,
yeah, I mean, right. You're right. I mean, and yeah. I just it's interesting because it's just so weird to see out of Schwartzman, right? Like it's like I'd be used to that going the other way, where like especially between those two guys too, right? I would actually expect that to go the other way, where Rune would be the one to wear down a little bit.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case. But I mean, to be fair, I guess like I'm looking at the stats now. Schwartzman had 1 winner in the second set, the entire second set. So
yeah, I bet the under 20.5, which cashed there. Yeah, I mean, Schwartzman is getting a little bit better, but he's just so underpowered, man. Like, and it's just such an adventure every service game. It's just so hard for him to hold serve, I think Clay will be a slightly better, but I don't really. He's still a guy I'm going to fade on Clay, this year.
Yeah, I mean, the books seem to be giving him still like some respect, at least more than I would expect. So I'm gonna keep doing the same thing, man. I mean, until it's
yeah.
Until I mean, it seems like they've started to move and started to recognize the fade, but they haven't fully done it. Because he really still hasn't done anything impressive. I mean, he did make the third round here, but again, he beat what, one guy, and he beat Wu, who was
exactly.
Yeah.
So
that was one I wanted to go over. How
about Fokina and Tommy Paul?
I live bet that ADF plus 900 in the second set when he was down a break. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Paul outclassed him the whole way. But Fokina just he is so tough to bet, which is why I think 3 sets was the right bet there. He's just so tough to bet because he's got
one bit. I don't regret it one bit.
Because the mental piece, right? Like not the physical piece, like the mental piece. Like, I mean, I think somebody commented on Twitter, and it's 100% true. Like the thesis of Fokina's career is the first set when he played a great game to break back, and then had 40 love and just started blasting errors all over the place to give the break back. Like that is Fokina.
Well, he's a better version of Shapovalov. That's
Is he?
why
No, he's not. But he's not. Is he actually better?
I think
He's a
so.
little less erratic. I don't know if he's actually like flat out better. I think he's actually. He's like a less erratic, but more. He's a. I guess a more athletic, less erratic, worse ball striker.
Okay. All right. I mean, I put them in the same category with Fokina just being slightly more mentally tough. You know,
Yeah, I mean, Fokina battles, right? He just does dumb stuff.
he does.
But I feel like it's like
There's
completely
no doubt
random.
about
It's not like it's not like Chappell where he gets frustrated and goes on like bad runs. It's just like completely random. Like he could be up love 40 or down 40 low.
Right.
Like he could be up love 40 and play a really smart
No
point.
game is kind of like in the books, right? With Fokina, like he
In
can
either
be up
direction.
40 love
In either
and-
direction. He could be down 40 love or up 40 love. It does not
Right.
matter.
Right. It's so true. But I don't regret this bet because, like, in the second set, Paul was up a break, right? Fokina broke back,
Yeah.
right? And then Paul broke at 5-all. He served for the match, and Paul got tight. He got
He
tight.
did, yeah.
He got tight.
Yeah.
He got tight. And Fokina had break point there and couldn't convert.
Yeah, I mean, and like, I think like, you know, I think I put on the Twitter on this is how I felt about it. I still feel about it, like it was a series of coin flips. Like it's not like we knew or like, you know, oh yeah, this is definitely going 3 sets.
Yeah.
Like no, but at plus 135, I think it's probably going to 3 sets more than like half the time. You know,
Mhm.
so like yeah, I'll take that bet. Like and taking the Fokina at plus 900 was like, you know, yeah, I felt like it was a couple of coin flips and like
Absolutely.
you know, like if stuff's
Absolutely.
out there at plus 900, you're not going to win it very often.
You're not.
Like the
but,
books,
like, in that,
the
in
books don't
that
offer things at plus
situation, yes.
900 that you're going to
Right.
win the majority of the time. Like nobody's that stupid.
Definitely. Yeah. But Paul is a guy that gets tight when he's up. Like there's no like I don't think you can really debate that. Really. You know, like there's a proven track record of him freezing up mentally when he gets up in the
The
swing.
only weird thing about it is it's not like he freezes up permanently. Like he can come back.
Yeah, he has short-term memory, right?
Yeah.
But he does freeze up. Like if he loses a set, I don't think you should just blindly bet him to lose the next set because like, you know, he still fights and like, you know, once he kind of gets in that rhythm again, he doesn't like he kind of forgets about the past, right? But in that moment, he does get tight. There's no doubt. Like he froze against Fritz in Acapulco, right? He froze against FAA, you know.
Yeah.
There's like I know those are 2 recent matches, but like that's a recent proven track record of him getting tight.
There's been a couple other matches. He served the match against Gomez, I think, a couple months ago and got broken. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so it's not like this has never happened to him before. But
Mhm.
he does have some big wins. He did beat Alcaraz last year. Like,
Well, he's a
you know,
great tennis player, right? He's an amazing athlete. He moves incredibly well. Like he does a lot of good things, you know? So
Yeah.
like, and that's what gets him in those positions. Like tennis players would take it to get into those positions. It's just that last hurdle that he needs to cross. And I actually think if he finds a way to break that hurdle, he could get into the top 10. He's that good, you know? But
I
it's
think he's got some other things also he needs to get better at.
slightly, yeah. Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, I think he's. I hear your point.
But like
Um,
I don't regret that bet one bit. One bit. And I don't regret live betting Fokina either. Like
Yeah,
I
don't either.
great. Yeah.
Fritz straight said it's Chapo. I don't think there's
Oh.
really much to comment on there. I mean, I think the only comment there is like Chapo's like he's just not good right now. Like he's too erratic to even take sets off these top guys.
He's a challenger level player, if that. Like he's really bad.
That feels a little extreme. Like he still
I
is
really
winning
think
matches.
he's bad. I mean, the amount that he's regressed since 2019, 2020 is alarming.
I will agree with that. I'm not saying he hasn't regressed, but I'm saying like I think he's still 500 on the year. I don't think he's that bad.
But like, I don't care who the guy plays. If he plays Eubanks, I'm taking Eubanks. Like, if he well, Eubanks isn't around the 16, so maybe I should, you know. But if he plays I don't know.
I looked it up. Shapo's 5-6 on the year. So yeah, I agree. Like he's not been good, right? Like this is the whole Shapo's not been good segment right here. But challenger level feels a bit extreme. Like I feel like he's like closer to like I don't know, maybe borderline top 50 right now.
No, he's below that. The lack of discipline that he plays with is just so bad. I mean,
but like I said, he's still able to win matches.
Like if he plays Hugo Dellien, who's ranked 111th in the world on a clay court, where are you taking there? I'm taking Dellien all the way. It's not even close.
On a clay court, it's close.
Yeah.
I mean,
if he plays Watanuki.
On a hard, all right.
You
now you're being a little bit extreme. I mean, Watanuki's been Watanuki can be bad. I know he played well against Tiafa, but he can be bad.
If he plays Yannick Ostman, who's 134 in the world right now.
Oh, you're easily taking Shapo. On a money line on a hardcore, you're easily taking Shapo.
Not me.
You would take Hanfman at minus 110 money line against Shapo.
No, the line wouldn't be that. The line would agree with your take.
So if you're talking from a betting perspective, fine. I'm saying like he's not a challenge level player though. Like he beat Kecmanovic, he beat Taro, he beat Lajovic this year. Like those are ATP level players he's beating. He's not playing top 30 level tennis. I'm not arguing that.
Okay, so if he plays Yannick Hanfman right now, what's the line going to be there?
Probably Shapo minus 4, and I'd probably take Hanfman, but like,
yeah,
my guess is that's.
I would take Hanfman on the money line there at plus what 300, 100,
and maybe a plus 100. Maybe you're right, but like, I wouldn't take him at like Shapo would like if you had to ask me who's going to win that match, I'd say Shapo. That makes him an ATP level. He's an ATP level player. He's still above the Kubler line in my mind, but that's not saying he's better than Kubler. But he's like,
if he played Kubler right now, I would certainly take Kubler. 100%.
I would too. But Kubler's playing well. Kubler's actually right now above the Kubler line.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I tweeted this like the way to play Shapo is you hit 2 balls on the court and you're gonna win the point. Like. And the coach was yelling at him to be more disciplined, and he like refuted that. And like, it's really bad. Like his career trajectory is like.
I don't disagree with any of that. He still is so talented that like even with all these problems, he's still playing like ATP level tennis right now. Like he still is earning his spot on the tour.
Okay, all right. Well. Clay is going to potentiate these problems.
Yeah, will exacerbate. Yeah, Clay will exacerbate
these problems, right?
Yeah.
So I'm clearly fading him. I mean, it's really, really bad. I mean, like, I don't expect him to beat Fritz, but like in 2019, 2020, he was beating Fritz, you know?
Fritz wasn't as good, but Shapo's form in 19 or 20 versus Fritz now, this is a competitive match. I agree.
And I feel like a lot of people respect Shapo's talent, so the books give him some like respect. And I felt like a lot of people on Twitter were like not favoring Shapo to win, obviously, but there were like some people kind of projecting the over and stuff, and like I feel like that was just dead wrong, you know. And I don't know. That's just my take.
Well, because the theory here is erratic can be good, right? Because you're just increasing your variance, which is good as an underdog. But I just think he's too erratic to beat like a guy like Fritz is like can hang with him when he's on his hot streaks, and then when Shapo falls apart, he just gets a break and that's it.
Right.
So yeah, I mean we're saying similar things. I think you're probably just being a little extreme by calling him a challenger level player.
Okay, that's fair.
What else? I thought the Alcaraz match was interesting, and that I thought like I don't think we should read too much into the second set against Lajovic going to a tiebreak. I actually watched that. It got really awkward almost after Alcaraz won the first set 6-love because he was beating Lajovic up so badly, and he went up a break early in the second. that like it's almost like the crowd felt bad for Lajovic, and I think that played into Alcaraz because he's not used to a crowd like. Not it was weird. It was like almost like the crowd was pitying Lajovic and like almost like asking Alcaraz to lay back a little bit. And there was like very little energy or emotion in the match and in the crowd because like everybody was like, "Oh, Alcaraz is dominating, whatever." Like, it wasn't. So I felt like Alcaraz just kind of fell asleep for like
That
half a
first set was just disgusting. Like his level was just ridiculous.
I mean, Lajovic actually played a pretty good match, and he got beat 11-6.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it was actually a sweat for our bet, right? Because we bet Alcaraz -6.5. We got it.
It wasn't to me. I was not sweating it at all because even if Lajovic won the second set, like now Alcaraz has to cover 1.5, and I had no like.
True.
It just felt like the problem was the intensity being like completely sapped because Alcaraz was up a break the whole second set, and he gave the break away serving for the match, and it just felt like because the intensity was sapped out, it felt like like Alcaraz like. But it's an interesting note on Alcaraz. I don't know if it really is relevant in betting in any way. Maybe it's a live bet, but I feel like when the crowd, when there's like, I feel like Alcaraz is like he's a superior version of like a Fognini or a Tiafoe, but where like having the crowd energy really helps him.
Yeah, I mean, like he's reached a point where he's never going to have a match where there's going to be like no crowd, right? Like he's
well, that's why I said this is an extreme version, right? He's not going to like, yeah, and that's why I said I don't know if it matters for betting, except in like these really weird live bet situations when like he dominates a set or dominates 2 sets, and the crowd like just wants to see a little more tennis or wants to see the guy fight back.
Okay, all right.
But it's not even so much about the bet. It was just kind of an interesting like note I thought in terms of that match.
Lajovic played actually pretty well. Like I don't.
Yeah, he did
that match. Like,
he did.
He did, and he's a guy I'm actually gonna look to kind of favor in the clay court swing because he's actually playing pretty good tennis.
He is. So, yeah, I will agree with all those statements.
Yeah,
and he's got a really good one. He's got one of the best one-handed backhands on tour.
He does, and
not a whole lot to go with it, but he has a really good one-handed backhand.
Yeah, really good one-hand backhand. So, yeah, that was good.
And then I thought in terms of Sunday, the only other match worth commenting on was, in my mind, and this probably deserves a little bit of time, the Ruud VDZ match.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we could discuss that.
So I actually watched this match.
Mm-hmm.
Ruud was the better player. Statistically, Ruud was dominant. I'm going to pull up a stat that is just incredible. So, and I'm looking for the stat. For the match, right? For a match that Ruud lost 3-6, 6-4, 6-4, Ruud won. This is like one of my favorite sets of tennis. Ruud won 40% of return points.
Wow.
VDZ won 32. Ruud won 8 more points for the match and lost more games.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It was insane how Ruud could not convert a important point to save his life. And then the other thing is Ruud missed an incredible number. Ruud was, and the net points won, he was 16 of 28, but Ruud missed or blew a whole bunch of points where he had overheads. Like he was like, there were at least 4 or 5 points that Ruud lost when he was hitting overheads from inside the service line. Either misses or hitting overheads that Bottas was able to return, which again is just like, it's crazy. So I say all this to say, like, Ruud served really well the first set and a half. And Ruud, I thought, was really good on the forehand side. So in my mind, like, I'm definitely not taking anything positive out of this for VDZ, other than the fact that he looked a little more interested in playing tennis, or a little more interested in playing tennis than he did against, say, Popyrin. I mean, no, like against Popyrin, he literally did look like he didn't want to be on the court.
What does it mean for Ruud? Because I actually fell asleep midway through the second set. So
I thought it was interesting that, like, if you've ever seen the movie The Mummy, when the mummy's regenerating and he needs to like eat the people's eyes and stuff to like kind of like fully recover, but like he has some, like they scare him off with the cats and stuff. Like I feel like that's where Ruud's at. Where like the forehand's starting to come back, so like he's starting to get like parts of his body back, but like he's still afraid of cats. So in this case, cats would be like break points or something. So
I I have not seen that movie, but I may have to get it to watch it at some point.
Yeah, you can. So I mean, basically, I'm not like.
It can't be good for Rude's confidence, though.
It can't be good for his confidence, but I'm not worried about like. I'm happy to see that like there's progression, right? Because I didn't even think Rude was like hitting the ball well up until this. And like Rude, like I thought he hit the forehand well, which is that's his big shot.
Right.
But I mean, the fact that he couldn't hit an overhead feels like a pretty fixable problem. As opposed to other, right? Like if you're gonna pick a problem for your guy to have, it's gonna be in my mind missing overheads.
Okay. I mean, we'll get into BDZ's match like in the 4th round, but I guess based on what you're saying, like he's kind of still a fade guy, right? Like,
yeah, to me, actually, I'm actually happy that VDZ won this match because I think that like if you're looking at like pure just who's winning, who's losing, which I think the books probably are. This gives this and the Kachanov win give some theoretical credence to a theory that Bodic has recovered, and I don't think that's true. So I'm actually happy that Bodic is winning some of these. I mean, like, it was hilarious actually. Like, Bodic after the match gave like a weird head shake that almost indicated like he knew he got lucky and didn't deserve to win.
Well, he lost more points in the match.
Right? Yeah,
which is you know,
and
like,
8 more points, which is a lot, and he served way more points because he was constantly in trouble.
Yeah.
Like to get dominated that badly and still win is, you know, like kind of insane. Like, I mean, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like, yeah, to lose 8% more points on return means you're like, I mean, it puts you at like 80+% likely to lose the match. Which again, like if something happens 1 out of 6 times, that does mean it happens 1 out of every 6 times, right? So like, but it also means like you shouldn't expect it to happen in the future, right? So like, you know, I think this is kind of a.
The books will be like, oh, VDZ won, beat Casper Ruud, so you know, like they're gonna give him more respect in his.
It's a top 10 win, top 10 win, top 5 win,
top 5 win. It's not a top 10 win; it's a top 5 win. So yeah, so I guess like. I mean, he plays Rusabori, who's been playing decent tennis, right? So
yeah.
I mean, we'll get into that match, but yeah, I think it's interesting. It's very interesting.
So those are my takeaways from Sunday. Any takeaways from Sunday other than that for you, Manny, before we get into today?
Talk a little bit about Rublev, Kikmanovic, and Sinner and Dimitrov. So Rublev, I mean, my theory was right about that.
Yeah, match. This was. You are absolutely 100% spot on here. This was a great bet by you. And like, I loved it because like, you know, on the pod, I said I didn't hate it, right? Which meant that like, I didn't know that I like, it was kind of like but I did say like, if you're going to make money, you have to be able to see those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that was a great spot because like, yeah, that's how you win. So like, that was a great call.
Because Kikmanovic, he's one-dimensional. He's not been playing that well. I mean, like, I don't take much stock into a win against Humbert. And, like, his balls just kind of sit up there for Rublev to hammer away. And that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, to be fair, I did not expect 1 and 2. You know, like, Rublev is not the best at covering, which is why I picked the -1.5 sets. But, like, the fact that the matchup is good for Rublev, plus the mental gap, it's just... But, like, how much stock do you put into this going forward? Like, do you
very little. You
don't think that
because of what you said? Actually, because of what you said.
Okay.
Right? Like, because like this just feels like it's a matchup where like Rublev's just gonna kill. And I think last time they played, Rublev won like 1 and 3 or something.
1 and 3, yeah.
So I think this is just like a matchup where like I guess the takeaway for me is like anytime Rublev plays Kecmanovic, I'm gonna take Rublev and lay like a crap ton of games.
It's the perfect matchup for him because, you know, also Kecmanovic doesn't really slice or change up the pace, you know?
No, he just kind of hits one ball. I agree.
Right. So Rublev loves that. You know, he loves that, you know?
Yeah.
Ball sits up, he could just whack forehands, you know? Like that's what Rublev wants. As soon as guys change up pace, drop shot, do junk. Like that's what Rublev hates, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So that was good. Sinner Dimitrov. I mean, I bet over 2.5 sets there. I mean, I'm always disappointed in Dimitrov. I don't know why I bet his matches, but like Sinner's playing top 5 tennis. I mean, I think your theory of him being kind of a pseudo top 5, you know, the ELO ratings say that he's top 5, you know. But he's playing really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It was interesting how many breaks there were in the second set of that match. There were about 5 breaks.
something like that, yeah.
Which says something to me about, again, like Dimitrov. I don't know. I'm not the world, you know, he's a really shaky guy to bet, man.
He is. Yeah. And then the last thing on Saturday was Ruusuvuori Daniel. I know you stayed away, right? Totally.
Yeah.
I bet Daniel didn't end up working well for me, but I mean, second set was close. It's just Daniel was underpowered in that match. I think that was the only way to summarize it, really. You know, like
Your new favorite word, Manny, underpowered. Yeah, we're gonna have a dictionary. We're gonna have the Manny dictionary. It's gonna be rally tolerance. You're now your new favorite, but you've kind of gone away from rally tolerance. You were on that word for a while, then you were on prowess for a while. Now it seems like the word of the month is underpowered. Yeah. Like everyone's underpowered.
I actually think that word might come out even more during the clay court swing, because like
it
makes even more of a difference on clay. But
it does.
I just felt like, you know, Ruusuvuori actually is playing decent tennis, and he's not missing that much, and he just was dictating all the points, you know, and like
just playing better tennis.
That's what it kind of boiled down to. Like Daniel didn't play badly, you know, it's not like he missed easy balls, but Ruusuvuori just kept putting him under constant pressure, and like the only way Daniel could win that match is if Ruusuvuori misses, right?
Right.
So,
but I mean, Vegas hit it perfectly, right? The line was like 3. I think the line was either 3 or 3.5, and yeah.
Which means that you did the exact right thing and stay away, you know? Yeah. Like, so, all right, let's go to today. What were some of your takeaways? So today we had quite a few upsets, actually.
We did.
We could start with Hurkacz Mannarino.
We can start there. Yeah, I mean, Mannarino's playing really good tennis. Really good tennis. Yes. Beat Shelton, beat Hurkacz, and you know, that was a really close match, right? But like Hurkacz is ranked in the top 10, and like I don't know, I think he's playing top 10-ish tennis. Like
I don't know if I agree with that.
I mean, who like we talk about, there's 4 guys at the top.
I know.
And like, and then who, like, yeah, he's not playing as well as Fritz probably is right now, or a few other guys, but like, he's not far away. He's top 15 at least. Like, there's just not many guys playing good tennis.
He struggles returning. That's the problem.
He's terrible on return games. He's absolutely terrible. I don't understand how this line ever was Mannarino, because like Mannarino's also like pretty good at competing and playing long sets. This line made no sense to me. I don't understand how this line ever got to Mannarino +4 or 6 and 6, unless you're looking at just straight ATP ranking and seeing the gap in ATP ranking and saying like, okay, therefore this is the line. Well, like there's just no.
I watched most of this match, and like Mannarino was content to rally with Hurkacz, you know, like because Hurkacz doesn't really do anything to hurt Mannarino.
Well, okay, Hurkacz's strategy is serve and push.
Serve.
He's a serve and pusher.
So accurate. It's accurate.
It's the truth. Like he has a massive serve, and then he just pushes and tries to steal as many points as he can. Like basically his strat, and it's not necessarily a terrible strategy for him, I think, because I think he might even be a little bit like. But I'd like to see him be a little more aggressive because he's taller. So I think if he like came in more, he'd be more successful. But his strategy is basically to like try to like steal as many points as possible when he's not, but just steal points where he can, and then hit 35 aces and have the serve decide the match. Like that's the Hurkacz play.
I actually think going forward, you know, we should consider betting Hurkacz to have the most aces on the tour, because like he plays so many long matches. And like, I think you could get that like plus 1,000, you know?
Yeah.
So we didn't really even think about that. We were just talking about FAA and Curios, right? When we did the preseason podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Hurkacz was in there, right? He was in there something around plus 1,000. Like, I didn't think the odds on him were like particularly great or bad. You know what I mean? Like, it was, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, look, it was a pretty even match.
But Mannarino was content to rally with him, you know, like, and I don't know. Hurkacz might be a guy I'm still kind of fading in the clay court swing because, like,
well, I mean,
Hurkacz,
but I think that makes sense. Like,
he's just
why would you be afraid to rally with Hurkacz? Like, you know, he's just going to push the ball back, and you just have to. And he's not that good of a. He's a good mover for a big guy, but he's not that good of a mover compared to like the whole tour. So, like, if you're Mannarino, especially as a guy who takes away time from players, like, why wouldn't you just rally with him and set up good spots for yourself?
Right.
Like,
that's exactly what he did. Mannarino actually played a very, very smart match.
Well, Mannarino is playing, and we can talk about more in his 4th round match coming up, but like, it's pretty amazing, man. Like, the rise of Mannarino is pretty amazing.
Well, he's unconventional, and guys don't like playing him because he takes the ball very early. He
hits flat, so it's a different
stuff.
He hits pretty flat off of both wings, pretty compact swing, which is like not
so the ball stays low. So it's like you think the ball is attackable, but it's really not. It's kind of like Medvedev's backhand, for example, right? Like, you think it's attackable because he's just kind of pushing that ball, but that stays low. It skids through the court. Like, it's very, very tough to attack. You know,
it's amazing he's only ranked in the 60s.
Yeah, because the thing is, he's a one surface player, right? Like,
you think he'd do okay on grass though? That ball should skid. That low flat ball should skid on the grass.
It's such a slow season, but he's irrelevant in the clay court swing. He's totally irrelevant.
Yeah,
you know. So like when you're, and clay is a big part of the season. It's a huge.
Yeah, Clay's a quarter of the season probably for him.
Yeah, I mean, hard is obviously the biggest, but like clay is a huge part of it. And if you're totally irrelevant, it's going to be tough, to get past the top 50.
Well, and it's not like he's an elite player, right? Like he's good. He's really good, but he's not elite.
Good win for him though. Good win. I'm a little bummed out that I didn't play the money line at like plus 260. But we did.
Yeah, but I think that's actually pretty. Yeah, I think that was. I think it was pick your favorite Mannarino line here, but like, I just don't. I could see maybe how you put the money line there because you say Hurkacz is pretty mentally tough. He's used to playing tie breaks more than Mannarino, so you could make an argument there. Right. I don't see how this line ever got to Mannarino +4, which is what I hit.
I was very, very close to hitting Mannarino money line, but I was like, oh, Hurkacz won this tournament. He likes Miami. He made the semis last year. Like, the tiebreak thing.
That's all fine. I just didn't see how he was ever going to get 2 breaks in this matchup.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
To cover 4.
Right. So we go to Eubanks Barrere. I think you stayed away totally. I played Barrere money line. I mean, I thought Barrere is just a better player, but credit to Eubanks. I mean, that gets him to the top 100. So like,
very weird though how Barrere blew a 6-2 lead in the tiebreak.
Yeah. Pain for bettors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not too much to say in that matchup. Next match was, let's see. So, Hallis McDonald.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed away here too. I thought this line was. I mean, Hallis ended up pulling the upset, but I thought the line was perfectly well set.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that crazy. It was like a minus. It ended up being. It started like minus 200 plus 160, and ended like minus 180 plus 150. I thought those were both pretty fair lines.
I had over 22.5, and that may have been one of the most painful beats of the year because McDonald.
That is painful.
Oh, that was so bad because
McDonald's up 40 love on Hallis, right? And he blew it somehow.
Right. Such a painful beat. So luckily it was only a 1-unit bet, but I mean, I thought over 22.5 was the right bet there. If you're going to, because like it's 2 pretty evenly matched guys, right? It's a big match for both guys, so both are going to be tight.
It's also a massive server in Hallis, right? Like a guy who's guys who's like more serve oriented in Hallis,
right?
Or Hallis, how you say it, and yeah.
And McDonald, who had a good win against Berrettini, and we commented on the last podcast, like he's been better than expected, right? He's played like 50 tennis. So yeah, I mean that was my bet there, but it was just a painful beat, man. When you're up 40 love to get there and like you get broken to lose the match, I mean it's just tough. Molchan with a retirement against Medvedev. I think he had like a kind of injury, was it?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Yeah.
It's so hard to get this information, man. Like it's so much easier on like more mainstream sports, right? Like, even if you're looking at like a hockey injury, you can usually get it. Like you can't get like tennis injuries. Like it'll say like guy withdrew, but there's never any information on like what happened. I think also because it's an individual sport, so they have to go to like the Alex Molcan camp and like who in the Alex Molcan camp is talking to anybody. Right hip.
Right hip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so this is giving an injury of some type.
I mean, obviously, we're going to talk more Molchan when it comes to clay court tennis.
Yeah,
right? But no, man. I mean, like that's not good if he's like hurt going into the clay court season. Maybe it's a product of like it's not really an injury, and he's just like, you know what? I'm not going to beat Medvedev anyway. I want to get ready for the.
Well, it also could be. I mean, it could be like a. We don't know how bad the injury is, right? It could be like a why get hurt for clay season? Why risk it? You know what I mean? Where it's like it's a risk. You know what I mean? Like you don't know if this is like a 1 week injury or like a 3 week injury.
Yeah, because even if Molchan is 120% on a hard court, he's not beating Medvedev, right? Like it doesn't matter.
Right, and like it's also like like this isn't the tournament for Molchan to make money, right? He needs to like the tournaments where he's going to make his money is coming up.
Right, exactly. So that goes to the last quarter. So here there were a lot of upsets. So we had Cerundolo beating FAA. FAA has officially reached my fate list. I think I'm gonna put him in there in my top 10 of guys to fade because he's really struggling off the ground. Like he's also double faulting a lot. Like I don't like what I see from him. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. The doubles are definitely up.
4.5 against Cerundolo.
The doubles are definitely up. I mean, if you look his last 5 matches, 6 matches, he's been up in the above 5% on doubles. Yeah, which we're usually he's like at or below that. So that's it's only a couple of doubles per match, but it makes a big difference. Yeah, I mean but I agree, he doesn't look as good. He definitely does not look good. That said, like for me, he's reaching my fade list, but more in terms of like I'm really excited now to take guys to cover spreads against him. Because there's 2 guys who he's covered a 4-game spread against all year. And I think I mentioned this in the Twitter. There's 2 guys he's covered a 4-game spread against all year. Barrère and Sonego at Rotterdam. Yeah. And Sonego at Rotterdam was a first-round match. So, like, okay, who knows how well Sonego is playing. And then he covered against Barrère at Rotterdam, but that's not a good spot for Barrère. It's okay spot. It's not a great spot. So I'm not like, so I'm not particularly I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
not particularly buying into him.
Continue to give FAA a tremendous amount of respect.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if I can get competent ATP, if I can get ATP level players at 4.5 or at 4.5 or more to cover, that feels amazing right now.
100%. I couldn't.
He's not getting enough breaks.
Yeah, he's struggling on return.
He also might be a really good guy to go over 12.5 on. And I did it today and I lost because he got straight setted, but I feel like because he still is competitive. He still is serving decent. He's still competitive. Like it's not like he's getting trounced by like.
Yeah, he's not really necessarily going away mentally. He's just like not playing well.
Yeah.
Which
makes him the perfect over 12.5 guy.
Yeah.
Similar to Which makes him the perfect over 12.5 guy because like he's gonna battle. It's gonna be close, and you just take your over 12.5.
So, like we talked about Hurkacz, we talked about FAA. So, like going into clay season, like are you still willing to do the 12.5 on clay?
I gotta see the odds. which is
Okay.
like a very boring statement, but like ideally the books are going to adjust the odds a little bit and give me slightly better odds to do it. So yeah, if I get better odds, right? If I get the same odds I've been getting, then no.
I to me, I don't like so they rely so much on their serve, and when you bring a clay court into play, you're not going to get those 3 points, right? So if you take those 3 points away, they're playing quite average tennis. So I might not even touch the 12.5 and just go with a dog being a money on the money line.
Okay,
That's
interesting. That's an interesting take. I'll have
so
to look more on how they've done in the past. I mean, like FA is the closest thing we kind of have in the game to an all quarter. I feel like he's done okay on clay in the past. So I don't know.
he
Like
has, but he was playing better on hard
I
into the
know that's
play
the
last
problem.
year,
I agree.
you know. So and I mean Cerundolo, did you I don't know if you saw that match. Did he make
I
like
didn't. I
a lot
was
of
working.
adjustments? Your work. Yeah. Yeah. I mean Cerundolo, like he plays well in Miami, like he made semis here last year. So I I don't know if there's much to really put into that, but like I feel like sometimes when guys go to a place where they've had success in, they tend to do well there, you know.
A lot of times, yeah. I
Um,
mean, well, it's not just that. I think a lot of times too, it's like, right, like especially on hard, like each of these tournaments are different weather, different surface speed, right, and like different
mhm,
balls. Like sometimes just like the conditions play better for that guy too.
that's true. That is true.
Um, but
So,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Like I'm definitely I think I prefer right now to like take guys to cover spreads because like he still is winning matches. Like I'm looking at him on the year, like I don't know, his record
if
for the
they
year is 12-7, which is like that doesn't sound great, but it's actually pretty good.
but if they were continuing on hard courts and playing more hardcore tennis, I'd agree with you. But the fact that they're changing surfaces and his biggest weapon is going to be diminished, that's gonna kind of sway my my take there and force me to go underdog money line
Okay.
and fade him a little harder. Like I think he's actually gonna struggle more on clay. So I don't
I
know.
mean the narrative makes sense.
Okay. All right. Next match was Tiafo Sonigo. Sonigo played a hell of a match. I mean, he served incredibly. I didn't see much of it, but I saw the stats. I think Sonigo won like more than 90% of his first serve points.
Okay.
Let me see. 8 aces, no doubles. He served 76% first serve percentage. He won 91% of first serve points, 82% of second serve points.
He lost 5 points on serve the entire match. That's
It's
incredible.
insane. Insane.
I mean, that's how you win a match 4-3 and 4.
And he converted 2 out of 3 break points on top of that. So hell of a match. He's just an incredible shot maker, and like if he catches fire, and it's gonna be tough for anyone to beat him.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that statement.
So I'm very excited to see that match against Cerundolo tomorrow. We'll discuss the odds there, but great win. And like I mean, we lost our Tiafa futures, right? I had him to win the quarter. You had him to win the tournament. So that was a little disappointing, but poor Tiafo, man. Like he played 2 guys that just played out of their mind.
Yeah.
Like he got through one of them, but like Jesus. Next match, Kachanov Lechka. Amazing call by you. Like you shouted out my call with Rublev Kekmanovic, but like I gotta give you a shout out here. I mean, that was incredible. Like that was the right bet. Like, and what's crazy is that no one on Twitter was like with you. I felt like everyone was kind of like riding the Lechka train or like catching up
Yeah.
play like 2 matches, like but you got it right. Like on the
Yeah. I
money.
mean, look, catching up. I just think like, you know what? It's basically what I said on Twitter. Like Lechka, like this past couple weeks, he's not been as good, right? Like he lost to Kokkinakis in the Challenger. He lost to he got beat down by Rublev at Indian Wells, like very depressingly. I mean, it was I watched that because I had a big parlay on it, so I was really excited, and like he just got beat down.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he just, he, so part of it's that, and then part of it is that, like, it's amazing. If you can be an underrated top 20 player, I feel like Khachanov, like, I agree with everything you say about him, right? He's one dimensional. Like, he's not the most exciting guy, but like, he plays top 20 tennis.
But how much is it a product of him making 2 slam semis on hard court more than like week in, week out being that guy? Like, because like his ranking might be a product of just him having 2 good runs instead of just playing really good tennis week in and week out.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't seem to do as well in Masters 1000s. I get what you're saying there. But then you have to ask yourself why, right? Like, why would he be better in slams than
He
Masters
doesn't break down
1000?
Physical is not a problem, right? But for
But he's not
most
winning
guys,
every match in 5 sets.
huh?
But he's not winning like every match in 5 sets.
But that being said, even if it goes to 5 sets, it doesn't matter because physically he's a beast. Right.
But yeah, I mean, it is odd, right? Like if you look at, if you look the past, you're right. Like if you look at the Masters events, right? Like, so Paris round of 16, Rome round of 16, Indian Wells round of 32, Canada, Cincinnati, or Toronto, Cincinnati round of 30 or Toronto round of 32, and then 3 first round exits. So like, yeah, not good. I mean, not good in the Masters. And actually it's amazing. Like in the past year, he hasn't had a single run past a semi, even in like 500s or 250s. So yeah, you're right. He is like he's been getting his points in slams.
Yeah.
But I do think it's odd that he does well in slams and doesn't do well like other places.
Because he's not a guy that wins on talent. He's a guy that wins on physicality. That's how I look at it. Like, he's a guy, the longer the match is, because he's mentally going to stay pretty sharp, and physically he trusts himself to last 4 hours, right? But if a guy comes out on fire, or he's like, it's a quick match, like you don't have really time to build rhythm or build momentum. He's a rhythm guy, like he likes guys that kind of like hit good balls where he can like attack them. But like if guys play a lot of drop shots or come in, like he struggles against Tsitsipas, for example, right? Because he'll come and attack and finish points at net, right? That's why he struggles against top 10 guys, because like those guys are just better at all court tennis, Yeah,
I hear you. It's just weird to me. Like, I just think I think he's a better player than what he plays in best of 3. And I'm just not sure why that. And like, I don't know if that's just variance or like what that is. Cause like your narrative makes sense, but like, if that were the case, then he'd be going 5 sets in like every slam match. And like,
but in
it's
slams,
more true than you think, but it's not like that's exactly what's going on.
But in slams, that's a bet I often place. I often place Khachanov to lose a set in a slam match.
And 1 set, but not 2 sets.
Yeah, just 1 set. Plus 2.5.
Yeah, but if he's only losing 1 set, then he should still win a best of 3. He should win 2 sets to 1.
Okay, I guess.
Right? So it's a weird narrative that like he needs this best of 5 physically, whereas like best of 3 just doesn't do. Like it's I don't know, I think it's
yeah.
It's I don't have an answer for it either. Like my best guess is that he just like trains for slams and he's just like more concerned with slam performance things with performance in other tournaments. But it's I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, a little bit. But I mean, we'll see about Lechka like come clay. you know.
Oh, I don't think I'm not down on him as a player. I'm just like I just think like
He is going through a little bit of a dip though. There's no doubt about
yeah,
it.
and I don't know why, right? It might be a dip, it might be he's just tired. Like there's there's a few different reasons that could be out there. Like,
Yeah.
he made a bunch of good runs. Like
He did, but I do think he slightly overachieved. Like we gotta pump the brakes with him. Like you were a little bit further, right? You were like, oh, Kachanov is gonna win this match. I was like, it's still close on paper, like, but it was a beatdown, right? It was like what, 2-4? So
yeah.
yeah. And then Sissipas Garen. So I was so high on Garen today. I bet Garen on the money line. I bet Garen plus 1.5 sets, and I bet Garen 2-1.
And I think we were. I bet guys. I just took the Garen money line, but I think we were both right on this. Like
I agree.
there was no like Garen played like it was a close match. So like we talked about this with ADF, right? Like you're not gonna get plus money on things that are like more than 50% likely, or you're not gonna get like major plus money. Like nobody's gonna give you 3-1 on something that's like more than 50% likely. Like unless you know a match being fixed or something, it's not gonna happen. Like. Or if it is, it's very, very rare. But like, it's maybe a couple times a season that happens. But like, it's just like, like if like this is a win. Like, if you take a guy this much money and you get to that point where it's 4-all in the third, that's a win.
Yeah, plus 310 when you take the dog, 100%. But like, it was a very frustrating loss because like Garen was holding serve comfortably up to that 4-all game. Like he was. Sissipas was the one that was like struggling on serve, getting to deuce and like 40-30s and stuff. Like, and he was having to battle to hold serve.
Didn't Garen have to hold out a 15-40 to start the third?
Maybe. Yeah, there was one game where he struggled and he got out of it. But then like the next 3 games, I think he held the love or 15.
Actually, the next game he held to 3 deuces. I'm looking at the match beats on the website.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, maybe.
So but then he did have a couple of holds. He had one hold to love and a hold to 30, and then he got broken.
But what about the second set also? Like
maybe second set he was better. Second set he was pretty good.
He was holding easily, right?
Yeah, second set was Cruz. There was one game. There was a couple games where maybe a little bit tough, but for the most part, it was just straight cruise control in the second set. He didn't face a break point. But then the third set was pretty tight.
Pretty tight. But Sissipas was always getting to like 40-30 deuce games too, right? On his serve, like early.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm looking at the third set stats. Third set stats, again, my favorite one return point. So Garen or Tsitsipas was 14 points, 1 out of 36 on return. Garen 11 out of 34. So Tsitsipas was better, but by like a couple points. It was a pretty close match.
Close match, yeah.
Like not dominant. You know what I mean? Not in the third set. Like not one-way traffic.
So the injury is still a huge question mark because like Tsitsipas is slicing so many backhands. Like
and he's grimacing, right? He's grimacing.
No.
When he's trying to hit through the backhand, which tells you like he doesn't want to hit the backhand because it hurts.
I just think like the tactics need to be just go to the backhand because like it doesn't even matter if you're giving up a lot of court. Like he just can't hit a couple backhands in a row. Topspin backhand.
Yeah, it's just tough. These guys are so instinctual, right? Like it's tough. These guys are so instinctual that like,
Yes, yeah, but I don't regret those bets by any means. Like I think Garen.
No, I don't either. And I think Tsitsipas is out. I mean, Tsitsipas catching up next round. Like ordinarily, you would like Tsitsipas, but I'm all over catching up.
100%. All right, I think that's a good transition into the 4th round. So I'm going to share the screen and we're going to show the draw here. Or we can just show the lines. So only 6 matches out so far.
Yeah, the last 2 aren't out yet.
Come on. Maybe by the time we finish discussing the early
probably round. That happened last time.
So I think the first match of the day is Sinner Rublev, right, at 11 a.m.
Which is like popcorn tennis. Like, I think this is the best match of the day from a viewer perspective. Like,
Well, the top half of the draw is actually loaded, and the bottom half is quite weak.
Yeah, so I'm super pumped because I actually have a futures on this. I have the top half at minus 150.
And
So I'm so pumped because the only guy that's a threat, like the second biggest threat on the bottom half of the draw right now is Kachanov. And that's not saying Kachanov is a threat. He's not.
right.
But
Well,
like the
also
only
Medvedev
threat,
eats
the only
Kachanov
the
for
only threat is
breakfast.
Medvedev. And he's not even like that much of a threat. He's just like
We'll
he
talk about
could
it.
win the tournament. Like I
What's
can see a path to winning for Medvedev. I don't see a path for anybody else.
what's Medvedev's odds to make the final?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because like, if you just look at this draw,
It's like, how does he not, right?
how does he not? Exactly. I mean, look at this draw for Medvedev.
I looked at the same thing. It's yeah.
Hallis, then Manarino Eubanks to play either Cerundolo, Sonigo.
You know, Manarino could frustrate him, and I actually think Manarino has a chance if he plays Medvedev.
Okay, but like, can he win?
I'm tempted to hit a Manarino money line.
Okay.
At like 350, at like something insane. Like it's
Yeah.
got to be 350, 400 plus.
Right.
At least. But there's some insane money line. Like if it's like 5, if it's like 4, 5, I'll start thinking about it, and it might get that high. I don't know.
It might. Are there any futures out yet? For like, no, I guess they're not, fortunately. Yeah. But like, if I could get Medvedev at like even minus 150 to make the final, I think I'm hitting that.
I think so too, because like he should. I don't see how he. I mean, he should. I mean, I just said I would maybe take a Manarino money line at like, but again, it would have to be like above. I think it would have to be above like 400 realistically. Yeah, I don't see him losing before the semis for sure.
That's
and
really
then
the only guy I can see actually beating him right now.
Who?
Manarino. Manarino is really the only guy. I actually think he has a better shot than Kachanov.
I actually think Sineo could be a guy to make the final here. Just because he's such a shot maker. Like if he just like he could just come out and make like 50 amazing shots, and you know.
But the level of redlining that he's going to have to execute against a Medvedev is so much.
It's insane. I get it, because like the thing with Tiafoe is he's not that good of a returner. Exactly. So like I get it. I hear you.
Yeah. It's like when someone plays Djokovic, it's like, oh, this guy can redline and win like the level of redlining that you have to do is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Really, the only guy that has proven that they could do that is Wawrinka. That's really the only guy.
Yeah. What about Yuri Vesely?
All right, fair. Okay, we can put him, but like in slams, like even Federer couldn't redline to that extent, right? So okay, I guess is Vesely better than Federer? Is that what you're saying?
Career-wise, I think so. Yeah, like that Vesely's got a lot of wins, man. Like those challenger, like I think he's probably got more like challenger level wins than Federer does. So yeah, I consider challenger level wins to be my my number one stats. So.
All right, let's get into these matches. So, okay, well, I guess we'll do top half first because they're playing earlier in the day. Rublev, Sinner, do you have a play here?
My play here is Sinner money line. I think the game spread is decently well set.
It's 195.
Yeah. I have it at minus 185. I hit it a little bit earlier. It actually was funny. It moved. This is like the third time this happened in a week that like I hit a money line, and there must be some guy who like bets like the same time I do. But like it's like the third or fourth time I hit it, and then within 30 seconds the line moved like 10 cents. So either it's that or like Bovada thinks I'm some sort of like sharp dude that's gonna like our pod is gonna like move people on Twitter because like the line it's moved like right after I hit it. But I have that one at 185. But yeah, I mean. I don't know. This is 2-2 at the head-to-head, but 2-2. Both of Rublev's wins, I think, are I think are retirements. Sinner's, I think, retired twice against Rublev.
Interesting.
I'm not really worried about the head-to-head here, though, because the other matches are clay.
Yeah, clay.
And Rublev was playing better. Like, right now, Sinner is the better player.
Well,
and that's why I'm taking a money line. Like, it's two guys who are pretty similar, but, like, Sinner's just better at it right now.
Well, that's actually why I'm considering taking the -1.5 sets at +140 here.
I don't hate it. What this came down to me for me is like, I think all these lines are like kind of okay-ish and all kind of like call it the same direction. Like, I think Sinner's the right play on any of these, but there's always less juice on the money line. So that's why I'm taking the money line.
This is to me like a money line parlay spot where I would take Sinner.
Yeah, I'm doing both. I'll do Sinner, and then once the other two matches come out, I'll put together some sort of parlay that'll include Sinner.
Yeah, I'm just not willing to play as a single bet -195 juice like that. That's too much, you know. I'm willing to. I would like -2.5. I don't mind that. But I prefer.
I like it a lot more even than -125 though. Like, would you want to sell half a game and get to 3? I don't know though, because Rublev has a good enough serve. He plays enough close sets.
But
like
-3.5 is +115. That's actually that might be the play.
The 3.5 could be a lot. Like, Sinner's playing. I mean, Rublev is playing a lot of close sets both ways. But the other interesting part of this matchup is now like Rublev's had this really weird top 10 problem where like if you look this year, he's 2-3 against the top 10, or not top 10, top 20, and his 2 wins are name his 2 wins against the top 20. This will be a tennis challenge for you, Rublev.
This year?
Yeah, 2 wins against the top 20.
Holger Rune at the Australian
Yep.
Open. And Davidovich Fokina?
Nope. Zverev in Dubai.
Oh yeah, Zverev is okay. Yeah, he's top 20.
But like Zverev still isn't full Zverev yet, and he still wasn't playing like even that well in Dubai. Like he was playing better than he had been to start the year, but I still don't think he's like full Zverev yet.
I don't really put too much stock in that win.
That's my point. He's not full Zverev yet, so I'm not that excited about it yet.
Yeah.
And the Rune match was a choke job from really both guys, but especially Rune.
Right.
So,
but what about last year? Last year, like Rublev against the top, I guess top 10, because we could put Sinner in the top 10.
I'll look this up. Oh, the reason why I thought it was interesting is because like forever we talked about like physicality problems, right? With like we still have the physicality issues with Sinner, but like we talked about like top 10 issues with Sinner, and now it's like Freaky Friday, and it's maybe a Rublev problem. You know the movie references, Frank. So something like that. Freaky Friday, the Mummy. When do you start watching more movies, Manny?
There's so much tennis to watch. I don't think we have time to watch movies, especially with our full-time jobs.
So in the last year versus the top 10, Rublev is 5 and 6. You've got 2 wins at the World Tour Finals over Tsitsipas and Medvedev. He beat Norrie in the U.S. Open, if you remember that. He did beat Djokovic in Belgrade. I don't put that much stock in that win.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I mean, not great to be honest.
You know, I just think Sinner is just playing better than Rublev at the moment. Just like ball striking wise, just. I mean, you could say Sinner is obviously playing. He might be like top 3 right now. You know, like you could even say he might be better than Medvedev based on Medvedev's kind of like subpar finals run in Indian Wells. Like it wasn't a great finals run for him.
Yeah, but Sinner's been giving up a fair number of games too. Like Sinner's been playing every match kind of close, which is actually why I don't necessarily. I don't mind laying the 1.5. I think I would lay the 1.5 before I lay the games here.
Okay.
But like Rublev might be is I don't know. You're only getting plus 140. That's starting to get more appetizing, actually. Like, Like if you put that up to like maybe 150, I might take the set and a half. It's getting close. Like there's just a lot of juice. There's just more juice on that line, which is why I'm gonna take the minus 195 money line. But it's getting close for me to take the center plus minus a set and a half. I don't hate it. I could easily see it coming through.
That's okay. So that's how I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play the minus 1.5 sets at plus 140, and then do the center money line and the parlay. That's how I'm gonna play this match.
I get it. I get
So,
it.
Yeah, I don't think there's much value in taking Rublev here.
No, I don't think so either. I think that like Sinner's just playing better, and like Sinner is a level above Rublev right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But I think this line is actually decently well set by the
Pretty
book.
good.
Get most half
Pretty
game
good.
off. Like it's not that far off.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to Fritz and Holger Rune. This is a very, very interesting match. I really don't have a clear take here. I'm curious to see what your take is, and maybe I'll.
It's the perfect line. We either texted about this or talked about it in the last pod. I don't remember which, but we said, oh, we want to take Fritz here so bad at minus 110, minus 115. The line comes out and it's minus 155, and I'm like, that's why I would have set the line. I thought because of their rankings being closer, and because like I think the overall opinion of tennis people is that this is a really close match. I was hoping they'd set it that way. But Fritz is playing better, but the line has that baked in. So like I think this is the right line. So I'm staying away here completely because like I was looking at every line here, like -2, yeah, that's exactly where I'd set it. Minus 155, that's exactly right. Like it's almost on the dot where I'd set it. Over 23, like I don't even like the over under here because the over, like it's already baking in the chance of 3 sets. I don't love the 3 set line at 130. That's not great. Like I don't love Fritz and straights at 155 is not great there. Like they're too even of players. Like there's just nothing like the odd even doesn't have much juice on it. So if you're a degenerate, you could play the odd even line at minus 110 each. That's a joke, man. You're like that's like betting the coin toss in football. Like
yeah, I think Klaus Fullegard would stop listening to us if we played the odd even line.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
So we want to keep Klaus as a follower here. So we're gonna stay away from that. That's really amateur stuff.
that is amateur stuff right there. That's even too amateur for us. Yeah, I don't know. Like the first set over under at one, that over is huge at minus 175. Like, I mean, I just don't see anything here to hit.
How about the over on game, the over 12.5 for either guy?
But see, the problem is I like Fritz better here as a player. Like maybe you could take the Rune over 12.5. Like that might be the play here is Rune over 12.5, and you're basically betting Rune to win a set. I don't think I'm going to do it, but like that's probably the closest I'd be. I think Fritz over 12.5 at minus 145. That's just pretty heavy odds, right? For a match like he could lose in straights. He could like Rune's also like, you know, he's immature enough. Like I don't know. This could go. I don't know.
I mean, who do you think is a better tennis player? Just like putting conditions aside, putting like
Fritz, but it's close. Fritz, but it's close. Rune's just like you still have the occasional cramping issue, so that's a potential issue here actually, which maybe tilts it towards Fritz.
Yeah, it's early in the day. It's 12 o'clock. I think the weather is pretty good tomorrow.
It's in the 80s, low 80s, not moderately humid. I want to say like 70%. Like, yeah, I don't know.
They're expecting some scattered showers, but yeah, I mean it's mid 80s. Yeah, this is a very, very tough match for me to like get a read on. I agree with you in that the lines are well set. I think my 2 favorite lines here are Rune over 12.5 and the over 2.5 sets. And then in my money line parlay, I might just play Fritz on the money line. That's kind of.
Yeah, I my favorite line here, if I have to hit it, is going to be the Rune over 12.5. Because like I said, I
Yeah.
think you're basically betting him to win a set at that point.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a whole lot of blowout sets here,
No,
but
I don't. I don't either.
then you do have to be slightly scared. But I probably don't, because like you got to be slightly scared of like if it goes 3, like Rune like physically going away, and therefore the 12.5 doesn't come in. Like it's enough to be a little bit scared of that. I think it scares. I think I'm skittish of anything here. Like it's just it's a line that's like pretty settable, I think, and I think the book did a pretty good job here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. So these are the 2 matches to start the day tomorrow. What was the start to the day?
I know it's sad they put the best 2 matches on first,
I know.
like,
I know.
but I guess they have to because they're putting the top guys up first, the guys in the top half of the bracket on first, right? Because they played Saturday, they played
And
Sunday.
they'll have to play Wednesday.
Yeah.
Van de Zandschulp and Rusevori. So we talked about Van de Zandschulp still being kind of a fade spot, right?
Yep. So I got Rusevori here, and I'm laying the games, I think.
Okay.
-2.
-2.
I'm not too worried about laying 2. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rusevori is certainly going to be in my money line parlay at -150.
Yeah, if I do one, he'll be in mine also. He's playing better than Bodic, and also like, so this is I actually don't think this line is terribly set by the book. The tiebreaker here for me is that it's in the middle of the day. So Bodic the last day match Bodic played was against Popyrin, and he looked awful. Like he looked like he didn't want to be out there. Like Popyrin had him on the ropes. Like Popyrin had several break points, at least 2 or 3 break points where he had like easy balls and just like botched easy forehands like only Popyrin and a few other players can do. Like Popyrin, like Bodic just, and then Bodic shouldn't have beaten Ruud either.
Right.
So yeah, I mean the only thing that's scary here is like Rusevori can be a little erratic, but I'll swallow that and I'll lay the games here on Rusevori. I was tempted to actually lay a third game on Rusevori and get the +115, but I don't think you're getting much for it. You're not getting paid very well to lay a third game, but I thought about doing it.
Rusevori in straight sets +160.
That's kind of interesting.
I don't really like the over 2.5 set line at +130 here.
I think the plays. I think it's something Rusevori. I think it's pick your favorite Rusevori line. I'm not too worried about laying 2 games, so I took the 2 games.
Do you think it's a close match? Do you think 12.5 is a decent play at -110?
I don't know why you do that though when you can just lay the 2 games at the same line.
I'd agree with that, and I think Bodic is actually like, how many break points did Ruud have? He had a lot, right?
A lot, yeah.
Even
Ruud was up a set and was dominating the beginning of the second set.
And even Popyrin had break points, right?
Popyrin was dominating that match for a set and a half also. Like,
and Bodic is double faulting a lot. Like he's struggling on serve.
I mean, Bodic against Popyrin was double faulting and like was like moping his head. He'd like double fault and like mope around and be like he looked like he didn't want to be there. And Popyrin was like hanging on to the towel stand in like the second set tiebreak, like barely able to walk. Like it was not good. I was like, this is like I was watching. I think I was commenting on, like, I was watching and going like, this is actually challenge level tennis right now. Like this is bad.
So I think I actually don't think there's value playing the Rusevori over 12.5 then, because considering like there's a chance it could be like 4-3, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I guess like I think you either lay the games or lay the sets. And maybe laying the sets at +140 is the right play. Or +160?
160.
160. Oof, man. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. Right now my bet that's in there is laying the 2 games, but I'm tempted to cancel that, cash that out, and go with a +160 on the sets. I'll think about it.
I'm definitely going with the same play here. I'm definitely pro Rusevori in this match.
Yeah.
Next match we got Khachanov and Tsitsipas. So we hammered this. Wow, the line went down from +115 to +105. already.
Yeah, so my pulling over at some random church to bet this match paid off with 10 cents.
True
So
degenerate behavior.
that definitely paid out well. So for the story, for anybody on the Twitter wants to hear it, Manny texted me, and this is so bad on my part, but I saw Manny texted me while I was driving home from work that the line had come out for Khachanov Tsitsipas. So knowing the Tsitsipas injury and being afraid of other sharp bettors, I immediately pulled over at a nearby church and placed a bet on Khachanov because I didn't want to lose that line in the 15 minutes before I got home. So
very nice.
I mean, I was afraid this would go further than +105. I was afraid this would go all the way to like -150 or something. And then because I actually think that's where it should be given Tsitsipas's injury. And given he's got to come back now and play a day after.
I totally agree.
But I could see this actually match not happen. I could see this end up being a walkover. But we'll see.
I hope it happens because
Tsitsipas made some really weird complaint that I don't even think is true, but he made like some weird complaint to
he does make some
Armitage.
Weird comments, though.
What?
He does make some weird comments, like his press. I don't know who's his PR guy, but like his press.
No. But this comment was funny because I think it's false. He said that like he has to show up, he has to play, or he gets fined and he loses like his best Masters 1000 result. Yeah. Like I don't even think that's true. Like I'm pretty sure they have exemptions for injury.
Right. But he's slicing every backhand now. Like it's not a formula to win ATP level matches, especially against top 20 tennis, top 20 caliber players like Khachanov. Like that's not like if he plays the way he did against Garin, he's not beating Khachanov.
Yeah, and I think he's going to play worse, not better. Like why? Like the problem is a shoulder injury. Like A, he said it. B, it's obvious in how he's playing. So like obviously, so like why do we think that shoulder injury is going to get better today than it is, or better today than it was, or better tomorrow than it is today?
Right.
There's no reason, and he played a long 3-set match today.
So I'm willing to actually play if we could get Khachanov like -1.5 sets.
That's 235. That's really appetizing.
I think I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit multiple lines here. I like that line. I like.
Yeah, I'm going to hit that as well. I just went ahead and hit that at 235.
Yeah.
That feels
I like the under on games here too, to be honest with you. Although.
Yeah, but you only get minus. What are you going to play? Some like. I mean, would you do something insane and play like an alternate total games? Like if you go under 20.5 at +220, so I'd rather just play the 2 sets for Khachanov than any of that.
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
I just put it in for a unit. Just Khachanov +235, 2-0.
I like it. Sense. I like it. Yeah. Yeah, those are probably the plays. Khachanov 2-0 and Khachanov money line. So, yeah. I mean, for me, it's a 4-unit play. I really have confidence in this pick. I think it's one of my.
I think the money line is a 4-unit play. I don't know about the 2. I mean, is the 2-0?
2-0 is a 1-unit play for sure.
Yeah.
But the money line, I'm doing a 4-unit play here. Like it's one of my. I think it's my second or third 4-unit play of the year. So.
Yeah, I mean, I Khachanov should not lose this.
Right. And I think it's really important, like for any bettor out there, to place this on the book where they pay you out for a retirement
after the first set. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because you think it's like I do think it's scary, especially if this match starts to run away from Tsitsipas. I think you're right. Like if this match gets to like a set and a break,
he might call it.
Yeah,
but I don't know what his interpretation of the rules are. Like, if he thinks that he's going to get fined or docked all his points, like, maybe he will continue. Like,
it just doesn't even make sense, right? I'm really disappointed in Armitage that he wouldn't, like... But I mean, what do you expect, right? Armitage is a corporate, like, schmuck, right? Like, that's literally his job. Like, you know, like... Yeah, so, I mean, it's... But, you know, like... I'm 99% that's not true.
Mm-hmm. Khachanov looked pretty good. I mean, yeah. He looked good against Lechka. Looked decent against
I mean, this doesn't even have anything to do with Kachanov, though, right? Like, this is like Kachanov is a competent top 25, 30 player at least.
but I think he's playing better than a Hurkacz or an FAA. If you put it in
It's
context.
close, but I don't even care. Like, I would probably take even this version of Hurkacz 2-0 against an injured Tsitsipas.
I'd agree with you.
So, like,
Especially the fact that Tsitsipas struggles on return. Like, that's the weakest part of his game. Right?
I mean, I don't even know, like that's all nice analysis. I don't know that any of it matters outside of the fact that Tsitsipas is hurt and, like, I don't know why he's playing
right.
this.
You're right. You're right.
Outside of, like, his dad told him that he's gonna get fined if he doesn't, so he's like afraid or something. Like, I mean, it really makes no sense. And I'm pretty sure I looked at the rules on this. I'm sure, like, if you have an injury, I'm sure you're allowed to pull out. Like, guys do it all the time.
All the time. All the time. Yeah, maybe his dad just wants him to play. And, like,
Yeah.
his dad wants to travel the world and eat some Greek food in Miami or something. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, who knows?
who knows? Alcaraz and Paul.
So this line has moved a full half game. When it came out, it was Alcaraz minus 4.5 was even money, and that's the bet that I have. I actually think that, like, the 4.5 at even money I would play. I think now the line is actually, like, I think the betting public has gotten this line to pretty much the right spot now, where it's pretty close to 5.
What's the minus 1.5 sets for Alcaraz here? Oh,
Yeah, it's not great.
yeah, no.
I'd rather lay the games.
Me too. I actually prefer the under 21.
Now I do. When I hit it, the 4.5 was the minus 4.5 was even money, so that's why I took the bet that I did. Like I said, this is the one moved a full half game. I mean, the only interesting thing is here. So this is kind of interesting. So, like, would you wait to place this? Because I think, well, no, but if you want to bet Alcaraz, you wouldn't wait. If you want to bet Alcaraz, you go now. Because I think the casual bettors are gonna. If there's casual bettors coming in tomorrow to bet this, I think they're gonna go more to Alcaraz.
Probably. Yeah, they played once before in Montreal, but I think Alcaraz is playing at a way higher level than he was in that part.
Okay, so here's the list of players that have covered 4 against Alcaraz.
Okay,
I looked at this. So in the past 2 tournaments, right, in Indian Wells or Miami, here's those guys that have covered 4.
Okay.
Griekspoor covered exactly 4.
Mhm.
FAA covered exactly 4. Sinner covered exactly 4. That's it. So it, like, and, like, Griekspoor, and, like, so the thing is, not only are those guys, like those guys are all big hitters, right? So, like, it makes sense they would cover 4 because they can, like, blast their way to covering, right? Especially, like, FAA can basically serve his way to covering the 4 games, and he's mentally tough enough.
And
Griekspoor played a good first set.
Sinner hits bigger on both wings than Paul.
Yeah.
But Paul's a better mover.
My point is, like, what makes you think Paul can cover 4 here? Can keep it 4 closer?
It all depends on Alcaraz. It depends on if Alcaraz is off, right? If he's making errors and kind of is, like, slightly off his game, like he was in the second set against Lajovic.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. You're 100% right. Yep.
It all depends on Alcaraz. It doesn't depend on Paul, right? Paul's going to do what Paul does, but is Alcaraz off? That's the only question mark, right? So you're basically betting if Alcaraz is off or not, because the match is 100% in his hands.
And I think Alcaraz can be off for a set and still cover this. Like, I think he could lose a set of it. Like, there's no reason he could 6-2 Paul on a set very easily.
He could, yeah. And Paul doesn't serve that big, right? So Alcaraz, every Paul service game could be an adventure.
Will be an adventure. I mean, Paul lost 48% of his service points or something like that. Like, Paul lost 50% of his service points against Djokovic at the Australian Open. Djokovic played a ridiculous match, agreed, but like, Alcaraz is capable of that.
Alcaraz is playing Djokovic level tennis right now. Like
That's what I'm like. This could be a match where every Paul service game is a coin flip.
Yeah, I think you talked me into laying the games here. I mean, I'm still laying 130 juice. I might go an alternate line and go -5 at plus 105.
I don't hate it. You still push at 5.
Right.
Yeah. I'm so glad I got this 4.5 even money, man. I think that was a
That's
steal.
good. That's a good play.
I would stay away now. Like I wouldn't hit it now because 4.5 at plus minus 130 kind of stinks. And 5 at 105 is like 5's you're getting up there, especially against a guy like Paul, who's actually like who's a competitor and a decent player. But not better than decent. He's a good player. He's probably close to top 20.
Mm-hmm. I mean, in terms of just tennis viewing that, though, like this is one of the matches I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I think, like, in terms of how these guys play athletically and like.
Did you get off from work
on the court? Huh?
Did you get off from work?
Off from work tomorrow. I'm so excited.
Good move.
I am so excited. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is going to be a fantastic match to watch. How about under 8.5 for Paul?
I prefer laying the 4.5 games.
So the only way you could win that is 4 and 3.
4 and 4 is the only way you get 8.5 for Paul. No, you're going under 8.5 for Paul.
Yeah, under 8.5.
Well, I mean, you get some weird 3 set. Like you get some the advantage. You get some backdoor 3 set covers.
Yeah, true. Right.
But I think it's really tough with 4.5 and 130. Like then maybe the 8.5 for Paul at minus 115 comes into play. I don't know. Like I already hit this the way I like it, even money. So the 4.5 at even is what I like. I think now it's
I'm trying to find a good line.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna hit the -5 at plus 105.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
So, all right. Next match. I think we go into the bottom half now. Is that right?
Yeah.
So,
or was only one left. We already
the Kachanov Tsitsipas was on the bottom half, but
yeah.
Alice Medvedev. Medvedev -4.5 here again.
This is what I hit. I think I got this at even money also. This line is moving away from yeah, I got this at -4.5. I got this at even money -4.5.
I like Hallis under 8.5 at -105. I don't mind that.
I don't either. I think this matchup is really terrible for Hallis. What do you think?
I do too.
Like, I understand why the book has set this at 4.5, and I was pretty scared at first, but like, this is just such a bad because like Medvedev is one of the hardest guys to ace on the tour, if not the hardest. I think he's actually the hardest guy on the tour to ace.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So like, if Hallis doesn't ace him, what else is he going to do to win points?
He's going to really struggle. And the match is at night, right? So he doesn't get the benefit of like a fast court.
The only advantage Hallis has here is Medvedev prefers like mid to longer rallies. And if it's all short points, maybe Medvedev gets annoyed. Like we've seen Medvedev get annoyed against Cressy. We've seen him get annoyed against
Kyrgios in the past. Not really a guy that comes to the net, right? Does he ever really finish points at net?
I don't think so. I mean,
I
know him for the big serve and the big forehand.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Right, big serve, big forehand, but he doesn't necessarily finish points.
But I'm saying if he's just cranking big serve and cranking serve +1 at the lines,
that's not a winning formula against Medvedev. Serve +1 is not the way to beat Medvedev. You got to take time away and come to net.
Well, but if he's just cranking +1 at the line and like if he's hitting like, because I mean, look, if anybody hits forehands within 6 inches of the line, even against Medvedev, it's a winner, right? Like you can hit you know. And if he's doing that a bunch and just trying to do that constantly, like hitting some and making some errors, maybe it gets into Medvedev's head and annoys him. That's his only shot. It's the only narrative I can even come up with for Hallis. It's such a bad matchup, is my point.
I don't think Hallis is capable of consistently doing that for 3 hours.
My point is, I'm trying to come up with. I'm trying to come up with a. I mean, the only other narrative I can come up with is like Medvedev sleepwalks for a set like he did against O'Connell. That's the other. But it's got to be like it has to be Medvedev gets to know like the only question here is Medvedev's mentality. If Medvedev is mentally in tune for 2 sets, Hallis has no chance.
No chance. Yeah.
This is Khachanov, but worse. At least Khachanov can hit a backhand.
Exactly. Yeah. The thing is, like, I don't want to play Medvedev 2 sets to love. Also, I mean, it's minus 220, first of all. But another thing is, like, you don't necessarily know Medvedev's mental state, right?
That's why I like the 4.5. Like, yes, Hallis is a big serve, but like Medvedev's so hard to ace. And I think you can get some friendly backdoor covers here if you need it.
Like if Hallis like finds a way by some miracle to win a set, right? Like he's gonna have to max out and red line to the capacity.
Like, let's say theoretically he maxes out and like red lines the first set and wins in a tiebreak.
Yeah,
I can easily see the next 2 sets being 3-2 or 2-2.
That's true. I think I'm gonna tail you on that. I like it. I like Medvedev.
Which means it's a definite loser. I say which means it's a definite loser.
I hope not. So only 2 more matches that the lines haven't been out yet. Let me see if another book has it.
Yeah. I doubt it. Usually these books come out at pretty similar times. Oh man, there's 114 ITF men's matches you can bet on tomorrow. There's 114 futures matches you can bet on tomorrow, Manny. How many bets do you play on the futures tomorrow?
I might play some challengers. There's some. I think there's a challenger 125 tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, there are plenty of challengers matches that's before Miami's gets started. Like, I can't have any hours of the day without.
No. What are you gonna do? You have like 8:30. You have like 2.5 hours until Sinner Rublev. Like,
I'm not gonna waste my time.
The problem is like, what are you gonna play? Lille or Girona? You gotta play Lille or Girona.
I'll do some research after the pod tonight. I'm gonna
play some Lille matches. I gotta get your Lille plays for tomorrow.
All right. Well, let's take a quick look here. Skatov minus 170. I like it.
You like Pedro minus 7? When did you ever see a Pedro minus 7 line?
Pedro minus 7. That's funny.
And the other Pedro's minus 5.
Cachin.
Yeah.
Bonadios is playing decent. Plus 140 then. I mean,
Munar's playing Spiracina. That's actually kind of a cool match. I'm surprised that's Munar minus 5, but I guess it's an ATP level player against a challenger level player. I guess it makes sense.
Okay. All right, let's go to Lille quickly. Oh, Virtanen has been pretty good recently.
Have you ever seen the video of Virtanen on the internet video of Virtanen?
No, I have not.
There's an amazing video of him. So somebody in Finland decided to do like some sort of like challenge, and Virtanen is a huge serve. So they decided to do some challenge where like they put random random people up against like 3 levels of service. So the first like somebody like dink serving, the second is a serve maybe like our level, and the third is Virtanen. And it's like watching these people go through the steps of the challenge. So like, half the people are getting like the dink serve back, and then a few people can get the serve that's like our level back. And then when they bring in Virtanen, it's just hilarious. Like,
it's funny. That's funny.
And they show like, like I think they sent like 30 people up, and like nobody got through all 3 levels. Like the people against Virtanen is just like comical. Like they're just like watching the serve go by, and they're like, okay, too good. Like, or they're like, was that in?
That's funny. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Max Purcell I think he's on like a 18-match winning streak in challengers. Have you heard about that?
I saw this, but I don't know if it means anything. Like has he beaten anybody who's like particularly good?
Not necessarily, but like, I mean, look at this. Oh, he did lose one
match.
Oh,
he lost to Billy Harris, man. Oh, our boy Billy.
So he's got to come up with a new winning streak. But look at this winning streak. Holy shit.
in India. He just went to India and played the India Challengers.
Yep. Yeah. But still,
Hey,
I mean,
Duckworth's not a bad win for a challenge. I mean, there are actually some decent wins there. You got Duckworth, Nardi,
yeah.
Kuzmanov. Those are like
Nardi
okay
again.
wins.
Offner is not a bad win. That's a good win.
Yeah.
But you know, like there's something to be said for winning 17 matches in a row. Like,
Oh, there is. Even against like complete schmucks, like there's still. I
even-
agree.
yeah,
It still is impressive.
even
No
again,
doubt.
yeah, you have to wake up every day. You have to play good tennis. You have to come out and win every point. Like it's not easy. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I was. Yeah, I agree with you.
No.
It is very impressive. You're
and I'm
absolutely
sure
right.
I'm sure it builds confidence, tremendous
Oh
confidence.
yeah, I'm
in the
sure.
player.
Yeah, and like, look, I'm sure he's playing good tennis to win 18 in a row. Like,
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, I mean, Mexico City. I think that's later in the day, so I'll be focused
you don't
on
want to bet that.
Miami,
Oh, you can bet some San Remo if you want to stay up all night.
San Remo, 4 a.m. 4
Oh,
a.m.
Shunsin Sang first up, baby. Ooh, Sang Shevchenko is actually a pretty good match.
That is a pretty good match.
Like, if I wasn't working tomorrow, I'd be kind of tempted to stay up and watch that.
Karatsev is playing challengers tomorrow.
Wow, he's only minus 1.5 against Kimmer.
Yeah. Luca Nardi minus 130 against Mager. I mean, I gotta look at their tennis abstracts and see like how they've really been doing recently, because like I mean, we've been focusing on these Masters 1000s, so
Yeah, I know. I know.
I gotta do some more research before hitting anything. But
Is
Rinaldi is actually a decent
man.
match. That's actually a very good match.
So should those other books yet? Is there anything up yet for the other two matches?
Let's see.
Or maybe like Bet365 or something has something
On
up.
Bovada, there isn't. Let me see.
No.
It's not up yet on Bet365. So we could just kind of discuss the matches and see like what we think would an appropriate line be, and like,
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
you know,
So what's the first one up?
so the first one is Cerundolo Sonego. I mean, I expect Sonego to be a slight favorite here. Might be a pick'em. But I would expect Sonego like -1. That's where I would kind of expect the line.
I think it's damn close.
Huh?
Like I think it's gonna be damn close. I think it's gonna be. I think they'll probably put it as a straight pick.
If it's a pick'em, I'm going Sonego.
I hear you. I don't know, but I feel like Cerundolo's gonna be a tough match for Sonego. Like, because Cerundolo's just like he's just gonna try to get a lot of balls back in the court, right? And didn't he do really well here last year, Cerundolo? Is this the one he
Semis.
made around to the semis?
Yeah,
Which is crazy. He's got a real shot to make another semi.
he does. He really does.
Um,
But that being said, like if Sonego serves really well, how is Cerundolo gonna like make progression on return games? Just by running balls down and like that's not good enough.
yeah, if Sonego's not redlining, then Cerundolo wins this. Like, I mean, the ball's in Sonego's court here. It's just like, you know what might be a good line here? I think I'm gonna play the 3-set line. I'm hoping it comes in like something even like plus 130. I think I'd play the 3-set line. I think that's the play.
I like
Cerundolo
that.
likes to find anybody he can to go 3 sets with. He just can't do it with FAA because like FAA is either too good or too bad. But he likes to find anybody who can go 3 sets with, and like
I like that play.
this feels like 3 sets.
Yeah. It's a huge match for both guys, right? Like Cerundolo has to defend those points, and like
It's also like with Sonego, like I don't know. I could easily see him playing well for a set and then going and then like not playing well for a set. And there you go. There's your 3 sets.
Yeah.
Like I don't see Cerundolo going away.
So you would definitely rather play the over 2.5 sets rather than the over on games here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, unless the over comes in something ridiculous like
21.5, which it won't.
no, like 19.5, which is not going to. Like, it won't. So like, it'll probably come over at 21.5 is what I'm guessing what the over under will be.
Yeah.
So I'm really liking the 3 set line here.
Okay. I agree with you. If we could get like plus 140, that would be amazing. I don't think
you will. You'd be lucky to get plus 130. It might be as low as 120 or 125. I mean, in my mind, these guys are so evenly matched. Like,
what about Sonigo over 12.5 here? Just because like it's gonna be hard for Cerundolo to break.
But Cerundolo battle to get to 5 games in a set.
Right.
The problem is you still need Sunogi. Yeah.
Like if I could get that even.
It depends on the line. It depends on the line.
If I could get that minus 120, I'd hit that.
I'm at like minus 110, but I gotta look at that. I gotta see what it comes out at. I'll definitely look at it with some interest. I think they're an interesting line. It's interesting.
And then the last match, Adrian Manarino and Christopher Eubanks.
I am all over Manarino here, and I think you might actually get a decent line.
I agree with you. I mean, I think the books will put Manarino as a pretty sizable favorite here. I think it's going to be what, like 2.5 or 3?
I would still hammer. Like, I'm hoping it comes in at something that's like less than 3. And then you can hammer Manarino. But like, I don't know if you saw the Eubanks interview post match. He was getting he's getting really emotional, talking about how like his career and like how he was never a top player as a junior, and like it was almost like this is like the coronating moment of his career at this point. And like,
right.
I don't hate that he did that. It's a terrible look as a bettor for the next match.
I agree. That's a good point.
Like, it feels like he just, and the way he was talking about how he came back in the tiebreak against Barrera, it feels like he qualified. Like, it's a lot of tennis. Like, I just feel like he's sapped out at this point. Like, that's my Manny take, trying to read into somebody's psychology and into their presser. But I really feel like here,
I think it's
actually, you know what the play here I think is Manarino in straight sets. That's the play I'm going to look to hit.
I hope that's plus money. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, if I was the book, I would put Manarino as like a 3.5, 4-game favorite, right?
I would too. But I don't think they will. I think they're, because like the thing is, like, Manarino's ranking is still in like the high 70s, right?
Yeah, he's just a better tennis player. He's more solid. And like,
look, we're both backing Eubanks. I'm trying to make the case why the book would put a lower line on Manarino. These guys both play a lot of tie breaks. They both hold serve a lot. So I'm hoping because of that they put a lower line on it and they put but yeah, I don't know. That's my hope.
Well, we'll see.
I'm all over Manarino here. And it's just gonna be pick your favorite Manarino line, I think. Unless the book adjusts and puts Manarino like -4, then it gets tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think then you would get a better line laying the sets.
Yeah.
I may actually consider playing Manarino under 12.5. If you could get a decent line.
His break game's not that good though. I could see Eubanks holding his way to 5 to 7-1 set. To 5 in a set.
Maybe. Yeah.
But you might actually this match might be so extreme on the hold side. You might be able to get like a decent line on Manarino under 13, which would be kind of amazing. That would be kind of interesting. I saw that on one of these matches where it was a guy under 13. I thought about hitting it today. I can't remember which one. It might have been Fritz. But then I moved it back to 12.5. But at one point it was under 13. Maybe it was Medvedev was under 13. It's actually kind of an interesting line.
Against
Hellas.
Hellas,
how do you say it? But
yeah. So
yeah, I mean,
any value on futures?
I guess I got bets on like half the matches here.
Yeah.
I'm just happy I hit a lot of these early because a lot of these moved quite a bit in the past days.
Yeah. And they moved in the direction you thought they would move, right? And that's always that's a good.
It just sucks because like I wanted to line up my parlays, but I couldn't because I had to wait for all these matches to come in.
Yeah. So if we do a money line parlay tomorrow, I think we're gonna do Sinner, Fritz, Ruusuvuori.
I'll do Ruusuvuori. I'm leaving Fritz out because I think that line is just too perfectly set. I'm doing Sinner, Ruusuvuori, Alcaraz, even like minus 700 or whatever, it's a slight odds booster.
I might do Alcaraz like minus 2.5, just to like, you know what I mean? Get a little
Fine.
bit more of an odds boost.
Fine.
Manarino, obviously, when it comes out,
Probably one, depending, assuming the line comes out with something decent, not ridiculous.
and Kachanov. Are
Oh,
you there?
Kachanov's in the money line parlay. Yeah, even at plus 105, it still isn't terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna go Kachanov,
This one we're
Sinner.
looking at. Well, this one is too close. So I'm going to leave it out.
Yeah. I mean, we gotta see what it comes out at, right? If it comes out super friendly for one guy or the other, then I'll do it. But
Yeah.
otherwise, no.
This one is just too much in favor of Medvedev. Like the odds boost is not worth the risk, in my opinion.
What is it, like 400 or something? 450, something like
No,
that?
it's
That's not
minus
terrible.
1,000. It's minus 1,000.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, minus 1,000.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah, no, thank
It's
you.
funny that it's 4.5, but minus 1,000. Like clearly they're betting on Halle's just getting to a tiebreaker, getting to
Right.
holding enough,
Yeah, Manarino. So Manarino, Kachanov, Sinner, Rusevori, and Alcaraz. That'll be our money line parlay tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
And then let's do a parlay with game spreads and all that other stuff.
So my parlay there is Medvedev. I've still got Kachanov money line. I liked Alcaraz a lot better at the even I would put Alcaraz in, but I'm not going to do it now. Rusevori laying the games,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess that's it. I would use
Sonego Cerundolo 3 sets.
What?
Sonego Cerundolo.
Yeah, sure. Throw Cerundolo on 3 sets in there. Yeah, yeah.
And Manarino laying the games.
Well, yeah. I mean, we got like the last you got to see the line, right? It could come out at something
Right.
we don't like it anymore at. Like at plus 115, plus 120. I'm not excited about the 3 sets on Sonego, and at and I could see the Manarino line coming out at like 4 or something if they're smart enough on that book. Then,
Yeah. And I think in the more risky parlay, not the money line parlay, I might put Fritz money line in there as well.
I don't hate it.
So I think Fritz is a slight favorite there.
Yeah. I'm just frustrated it takes so long for these books to come to get these lines.
I know. Any and another thing is if we can get Medvedev to win the bottom half of the draw at minus even better, anything better than minus 150, I'm hitting it.
Yeah, I think so.
Because
There's 3 matches left, right?
Three matches left. Halle, then Eubanks or Manarino, and then injured Tsitsipas, Kachanov, Sonego, or Cerundolo in the semis.
I mean, the only one of those that's as scary as Sonego, right?
Yeah, considering how badly Medvedev just destroys Kachanov.
Yeah.
Because of the movement gap. At least Sonego is a better shot maker, right? So he can like kind of come up with some winners out of nowhere. Whereas Kachanov doesn't really have that capability.
No.
So yeah.
No, there's no path to victory for Kachanov.
No, that's a really, really bad matchup.
Yeah.
So all right. So very interesting. A lot of popcorn tennis tomorrow. Which match are you looking forward to most?
Probably Sinner Rublev. It's just that's such a fun matchup. Like, it's just who can bash the ball better.
The matchup I'm looking forward to most in terms of just viewing is Alcaraz Paul. Just in terms of the quality of tennis, I think that just like with their
the rallies will be really good there.
You know,
the
rallies in terms of
like
betting,
Paul's like
yeah.
He's fun to watch because he's got actually like really good like finesse and hands and stuff. It's just like I can see Alcaraz just bullying him. And not looking as fun because Alcaraz just bullies him. Whereas like I don't know, like with Sinner and Rublev, like you're gonna see both of them hit some really cool forehands.
True. Well, it's the first match of the day, and then Fritz and Rune is not that.
I'm just disappointed I'm in the office because I won't be able to watch any of it.
I know.
And all the good matches in the morning again, like all these night, like what's the night match? Medvedev?
Medvedev, Hali, yeah, it's like Cerundolo and Sonic.
Like I get why they're doing it because then when guys have to play night after day or night like day after night. So I get it, but man, it sucks.
It sucks. Yeah. Good day. Good day to be off from work.
Yeah, maybe I'll call out.
Well, thanks for listening. I don't think we're.
Thanks again to our new followers. I think we're up to 180 now.
I know.
So appreciate all the new followers. Appreciate all the old followers. Appreciate all the commenters on the Twitter feeds. We'll post the pod. We'll post the pics. Yeah.
Definitely, as always. All right. Well, have a good night, guys. See ya.
Bye, guys.